Hey, quiet down. This is the best part of the review.
Wait, so we review PlayStation games where we have Atari joysticks in the
Well,
intro?
next time you can pay $74 for an Indonesian guy named Hank to make the logo Your Majesty.
I see. So I see you weren't happy with my review of PGA Tour.
Talks like
96.
Sheldon Cooper, but it's
So
dressed
you're
like
making
Count
me conduct a
Chocula.
review of a
What?
game
Are
with
we
a bit more
watching the same
action.
video?
Yeah, there's a reason I prefer to be behind the camera.
For those of you who wanted to see this monkey dance and clap his cymbals, I hope you're happy.
It's like you're suddenly turning into a Batman villain.
Oh my god, can we please skip to the review?
What game am I reviewing today? Well, of course, going to be Off-World Interceptor Extreme. But here,
Oh my
look
god,
at the box.
so nice he had to
Look
do it
at the
twice.
box.
It's cracked, and there's a guy smoking a
familiar
cigar on the
logo.
label.
Why, it's none other than Crystal Dynamics. Perhaps you remember them as being the creators of Gex, as well as Total Eclipse Turbo. But thankfully in this game review, we have no wisecracking gecko.
At least I know how to entertain people, buddy.
Okay, yes, I
Stay
know your
focused.
attention spans are too small for this segment. I'll put in the game.
Like that's my
and Total
game.
Eclipse Turbo, Crystal Dynamics.
Wow, look at
originally
that nice
released
brick
off-world
wall. I guess we
Interceptor
really
on
are up in the
Sonic
budget.
Radio before porting it to the PlayStation and Sega Saturn in 1995.
Jeez,
I guess
what the hell is
re-release
that?
where we get the extreme part of the
You
title
idiots
from.
ever play any
Let's
new
quickly
games?
put Total Eclipse Turbo and Off-World Interceptor Extreme next to one
Nah,
another.
how about that? Two
So as we
forgettable
can see,
games
they're
for the
both
price
rail
of one.
shooters
You
and
really
nearly
get your money's
identical
worth.
looking graphics and gameplay.
Ah, so why
The
did I
main
even
difference
bother?
being that in today's game, we control a land vehicle instead of a spaceship.
Oh, really? I thought that
Both
was a
games have
taco.
lot of
Thank
fast
God
pace
it's
and
not
heavily
golf again.
action-packed levels. In fact, Off-World was praised for its smooth, non-stuttering frame
Yes, about
rate,
as smooth as a
even though
porcupine.
there is so much going on. The last thing I'll say about how they compare with one another is how
The screen
the
is going to
weapons-
eat us all.
In Total Eclipse,
Can you at least get to the
collected
game that we
weapon
came here to
upgrades within
see?
the levels, and you held on to those upgrades until you died.
Well, there goes my
In
slightly chilled
Off-World,
Chateau
there are
Lafitte.
plenty of collectibles, but they aren't your main weapon. Instead, there are 6 vehicles you may purchase.
You'll need
through
a
the
microscope
course
if you're
of the
watching on your
game,
phone.
Each more expensive than the last. The vehicle will determine your main weapon.
And once again, my
Not only can
intelligence
you
has been
purchase different
insulted.
vehicles, you can also purchase upgrades that will aid you through the insanity of these levels.
Yeesh,
like
I wish it was the
shields,
insanity
which will
of
allow
this
your vehicle
review.
to sustain more damage, and gyros, which will give your vehicle better handling. Obviously,
gyro
the
is a
driving
sandwich.
is pretty unrealistic, which was actually a criticism a reviewer
Oh wait,
at the
this
time
game's
had
not
about this
realistic?
game. But why in the
Well, that's
would you
one
want
for the swear jar.
realistic driving in a game where there's almost nothing but canyons all around you?
How about a different
While
game?
we're splitting hairs, why not complain about the lack of zero gravity since we are in space, you fucking moron?
Wait, sponsors, come back!
From 30 years ago, it's bringing out the average internet commentary.
I'm doing below average.
Something that's funny about the vehicles is that the term "you get what you pay for."
Wow, I think you
doesn't
spelled
really
everything
apply
right.
here. I think my favorite vehicle was the Roadkill 409, which is only the third vehicle you'll ever have the opportunity to purchase. Even the instruction manual highly suggests this vehicle. Knowing your vehicles will come in handy because once you buy a new vehicle,
Now, what?
you don't get to keep
Oh,
the
sorry, I was
others you
having this
previously
terrible dream
purchased.
that we were watching
Yeah.
a boring-ass game
How do you
review.
like that?
I don't like it.
You have to
I don't like
buy
it at
them
all.
again. Like, what the f*** is that
That's
all
one of them
about?
$1
To anyone
words.
who wants to play this game, don't give up your Roadkill 409 for the quote.
Don't give up
unquote
your
upgrade
Roadkill 409. Are you off your
Oh
meds?
my god, that vehicle sucks balls. So what are we even doing in this game?
I thought this
Well, in
was
our
Croc
full
2.
motion
Oh,
video
hell no.
cutscenes,
I
which
sued
are
that guy out of
Cornball
existence.
is all hell. It turns out that we are one of several intergalactic bounty hunters hired by the
This is like the idiot's version
whoever
of
this
Inception.
cartoon character is, and Mrs. Incredibly Mild attempt at sex appeal
Wow.
lady.
Well said,
The
Cody.
story
It's like
is
poetry,
pretty
really.
awful. In fact, the instruction manual almost makes it sound like even they are ashamed of it.
I'm
As
ashamed
the
of
section
this.
that says story just mentions the two guys sitting in front of the TV making fun of it, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style.
How silly.
I
Who'd
think
steal an idea like that?
is hilarious.
There better be naked ladies in this thing. I wish I could get my hand off my
And did they beat you
chin.
to a
I'm
bay
never
plant?
going to that
You
glue
have become a
planet again.
statistic.
Their jokes aren't super fantastic, but it gives you a reason to actually watch the FMV.
He can
But I
see
don't
my
get it.
soul.
They keep censoring out the weirdest dialogue. There's a way to uncensor it, and some of what they say aren't even curse words.
Your eyes to yourself.
What about my hands? I was just looking at your I was just looking at your pooper.
What?
Slightly rude, I guess, but the box of the game says rated
we get
M
it,
for
Cody.
mature.
You own the game.
The only
Big
reason
deal.
I censor out the curse
That's
words
me on
the
a good
YouTube
day.
channel
Dude, you need
is because
counseling.
I can't make my own channel rated R. I mean, I guess I could, but my videos where I say F every other
Cody,
word
the
usually aren't as
kids.
popular.
And think about
There
the
are 6
money!
worlds in all, comprising of anywhere from 2 to
Only
5
5.5
levels
minutes
in
to get to the
each,
review. That's
including
gotta be
the
a record.
boss.
I hate you so
What
much right
fascinates
now.
me is the difficulty. Like, the vehicles, they don't necessarily go from easiest to hardest.
Yeah, that's how all
Scorch
games
7,
work,
The
Cody.
first world is what I would describe as being the perfect way to ease the player into the game. Now, before I go on, let's take in what's on our screen right
A
now.
map of
We've
Nebraska
got this
and an ad for
2.5G
Cheez-Its.
vehicle driving
I
over
wish I could
200
afford
miles
the
per hour in the
concessions here.
desert on this unknown barren.
The unknown barren planet of Arizona.
Well, maybe barren's not the best word to describe it, but anyhow, there seem to be a lot of cacti, and there is a smorgasbord of enemy vehicles.
What can I say? My ass
And
has a
what
way
I
with
guess are
words.
competing bounty hunters on the screen. Everything moves at a cheetah's pace, and there are an ass ton of collectibles. Speaking of collectibles, I'll name a few.
No!
Coins, both silver and gold, are currency that you may use to buy things when you go back to the menu. This will happen either when you finish a level or die.
Can't you just say die like a
There are
normal
also
person?
missiles, which you shoot off with the square button for a more powerful shot, and these nukes that will initiate a full-on airstrike. when you press L2. I recommend hoarding these for the boss fights.
Okay,
You are
Russia.
also equipped
That's
with
enough.
mines, which you release with circle. Hopping is L1. Your standard weapon is R1. Nitro is R2.
Welcome to
and
hell,
X
gentlemen.
Is, well, of course, your gas pedal. The levels are timed, but it's not hard to make it in time.
I said time
Generally,
twice.
the quote-unquote par time would be about
Now
3
three
minutes and
times.
15 seconds, but it
Try
does
5,
vary
you
stage to
jackass.
stage. So we beat the first few levels and move on to our next live action acting and find ourselves in Atlantia.
Atlantia is not a real word. Negative
Beautiful
points.
use of colors. And I love the Easter Island heads, which make absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I know those aren't
Because
Easter
we're in
Island heads.
space.
Oh, we are.
The top of the screen has all our indicators. All pretty self-explanatory except for chase, which indicates our vehicle as being the white bar in relation to the intergalactic felon we are after, aka the red bar. Special thanks to the instruction manual.
Go ahead and light it on fire while you're at it.
World 2 isn't too hard.
Use
but
the
we
cheat
could definitely
code.
see the spike
No, I
in
didn't, you
difficulty around the
jackass.
stage before the boss. The next world is actually easier than World 2. Third world being Bastion.
As in Sebastian, perhaps? I'll see myself out, thanks.
Yeah, they add new obstacles like the slash strips, but it's really no big
Was
deal.
that really necessary?
I completed the entirety of the third world on the first try. This is also when the Roadkill 409, as mentioned earlier, becomes affordable. So that may have something to do with it, I don't know. While we're talking about the third world, I think now would be a perfect time for me to take a bathroom break.
Did I actually leave this in the review?
Are you serious? This review just turned into a Rob Schneider movie.
So, while Cody's on the dumper,
If you're about to ask me what it's like to be Kermit again, I will stab you in the face with an iron sport.
That's better.
he missed.
Anyway, the fourth world is substantially harder than the third, and it's called Las Lunas. Clearly a play on the city of Los Lunas.
No,
At
it's
least
just the moon in Spanish,
assume
my
so.
guy.
Now we are on the moon, but you know what I wasn't expecting to see on the moon? Aside from Stanley Kubrick and a film camera?
Can't afford that joke.
Palm trees. Also, something to keep in mind is that these nuke weapons
Wow.
should be at least last resort, because once you use them and die, you don't get them back. World 5 is Silt Sorrow, and World 6 is Morpheus Moors. Again,
What year did
World
The
5
Matrix
is
come
a little
out?
challenging, but not as challenging as Last Lewis. And World 6 is easily the most difficult as it follows a very strange set of rules.
Well,
I
the
mean,
last
look at
world
this
is the
mess.
most
Floating
difficult?
eyeballs
What a
with frickin'
shocker!
laser beams shooting out of their retinas. Slimy canyons and more hair than a greasy anchovy sandwich.
I'm sorry,
Also,
what the hell did
in
you
the
just say?
is killing me. The water.
Welcome to Flint,
when
Michigan.
it comes to the gameplay, it's super fast-paced, and I mean sometimes it's too fast-paced. There are times I can't even tell what is going on, and I have to hope for the best. Also, if you hit the select button, everything goes into a first-person
And if you press the
mode,
start
and
button, you
holy
go eat a
shit,
sandwich
is this
in your
even
kitchen.
Possible? Oh, I love
Wow.
airstrips. They come in
Do you ever
clutch
shut
when
up
you have
about the
so
airstrip?
much going on at once, and you've got to pick up all these power-ups. I mean, I actually really love how
Ah,
liberal
yes, the Cody
stages
Johnson
are with the
strategy.
repair
Hold all the
kits.
buttons at once
But
and hope for the
because
best.
you're a 2.5 vehicle in a 3D space, and all the collectibles are 2D, it's really easy to miss them. So, what about the other modes?
What about the other
Well,
modes? We
something
don't have
that's
time for
really
this.
nice is that there's actually a 2-player battle mode. Yeah, you choose a level
He's
and
a little
the split
too
screen
excited about
appears.
two-player mod if you
Honestly.
ask me.
If I had this game when I was younger, my friends and I would have played
They'd
the
stop
shit
hanging
out
out
of
with
this.
you.
Also, if you want to play but don't want to watch the dumbass story, then there's the arcade mode where you can choose a planet and start bounty hunting.
The dumbass story is the only
And believe
reason
it
I
or
would
not,
play.
There's actually an interactive training mode. I mean, for the time, like we're looking at 1995, how many games honestly had an interactive training mode? Most of them were like,
611.
you check the manual, but not this game.
Why, you're easily impressed.
Off-World Interceptor Extreme is my favorite Crystal Dynamics title so far. And with its fast-paced, action-packed, hardcore gameplay with great music, corny cutscenes, and different exciting game modes, I've got to give it a B+. I mean, I'm just saying. It's a fairly short game, but it's a good time to be had by all.
Can't wait to see the comment
Cody
section
from the
for this
Johnson Bros
crap.
channel, signing out. Peace.
Where can I get my refund?